Oh, Mr. Tim, what'd you do to the baler? What'd you do to the baler, Tim?
Nothing.
What do you mean nothing? You're not working on it?
No.
Why not? What are you doing to it?
Put the bands on.
You're putting the bands on. Yes, yes he is. He's putting bands on. Okay, so what we've done is we have swapped out our metal bands, yes, the metal bands, for plastic bands. Hopefully he's got them tight enough. The one thing I dislike about the plastic bands is that it wears the tines. Yes, it wears the tines, believe it or not. I don't know, it just does. If you see where it rubs here, it wears the tines off. So when you go to metal bands, you have problems with tines wearing. You would think that with the plastic that it wouldn't do that, but unfortunately it does. So anyway, I think they should put poly tines on it then after we do that. But anyways, that's not what the problem is. I do have a little bit of a problem and an issue with this baler, and it's been a little bit of a pain in the ass. It's pissed me off ever since I've owned it. And that is, you see that hole I just torched out of there? Well, this is the side plate. The side plate is there, and the side plate actually goes underneath there, like so. Well, if you can see, they had the side plate, the hole covered in the side plate. So what I did was just torched it out. Right, Tim?
Yes.
Okay, so I just torched that out, and what was happening is I'm getting an extraordinarily large amount of crap building up in around the sprocket. As you can see, there's oil and stuff that's kind of caking up with dirt and all that neat stuff. And, well, that's really not the major problem. Major problem is all that dirt and stuff is rubbing the clips off of my chain. Now, there's a few things on this machine that I would consider design flaws. One I thought that I had fixed, and unfortunately I was wrong, because if you look down that rail, I don't know, can you see the straight line? Right where at the end of where I welded it, it is buckled. So it is pulling that sprocket away from the this sprocket here, the idler sprocket, which I find to be a rather stupid design, but anyway, it is pulling it away from there, causing an extraordinarily large amount of pressure, which is putting wear and tear on my clips, and it's going to cause them to break off. But one thing at a time, my friends, one thing at a time. So we got the poly bands, which will take a lot of the friction away from the pickup, the tension on that chain, which is going to hopefully alleviate some of the pressure that is up on that idler sprocket, which you can see it's just pulled away from it. Even that shield over there is just effed. It's just effed. You know that? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take the skid steer, I'm going to bend that back, I'm going to pull it up into the building, and I'm going to bolt or weld ears on the back side of this thing, because it actually tore that guard. But anyways, let me get this thing together real quick, and we'll call that a good deal. Right, Tim?
Yeah.
It's all good. I have some ideas that will alleviate this problem that we're having with this chain. I think I know why this is breaking, or bending. I got a pretty good idea. Go ahead and get the bolts that are underneath there, put them up in there, and then tighten them up. This is the drive, this great big plate here. This is the thing that drives everything. Now, if you look at the sprocket teeth, you can see that they are bending or wearing in a direction like that. The reason being is this is the direction it pulls. It pulls downward. So all the pressure of this drive sprocket is pulling on this silly little idler sprocket up here. I think that they could probably possibly do a little better job with that, but
Missing one?
no, there was 3 of them. There was one missing.
Okay.
But anyways, what happens is, because this is pulling, and I want you to watch this right here. When that's pulling, you can see that automatic adjusts, slack adjusts. Hold on a second. Don't over tighten it. Got all 3? this automatic slack adjuster, or this tensioner, is causing the chain to go slack. Well, when it loosens up here, it allows, because this thing is only on probably a third of the drive sprocket, it's causing the chain to slip pretty badly. So, with it slipping pretty badly, it's ratcheting and banging and pulling, and I think that the ratcheting action is actually what's causing that thing to bend. If it was a constant flow of pressure, it would be fine. So what I'm going to do, whether it voids my warranty or not, because the warranty's pretty well over, I don't care at this point, I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to put one of these in, so that it is a solid, tension. Because here's the tensioner. So I pull that up to the point where it's tensioned really nice and it's not over tight, or, you know, able to loosen up. Because it can't get this tight enough. It just doesn't have it. It just won't do it. So anyways, I'm going to put one of those on there. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it today, but what I am going to do today is actually over tighten this thing to the point where it's bottomed out. Where it is bottomed out, and that'll be it. You know, it'll be bottomed out, and then it won't slip there, because when I tension this thing properly, and the chain is constantly stretching, so, and as the chain stretches out, that loosens up, and then it allows more slop and slack, and then it will do that skipping. So anyways, so that's that. Right, Tim? Mm-hmm. Oh, I got sore toes. You got them in? So anyway, here we go. Timothy's working on that. Look at him tighten that up, and then I'll show the rest of it. And that's something.
Did it bend back down?
Yeah, it did. Not quite where I wanted it. This is such a flimsy piece of shit. Alright, you see what happened? Where these tore loose?
Yeah.
Well, that was bent so bad. That's why they tore loose, because it bent it. Now, with it being bent back out, we're going to have to weld something onto it. We're going to have to weld, we'll have to pull these bolts out, or weld it, maybe brace it so that it's pulling on that, because that is part of the strength of that. Because it's now straight again. By tapping it, it'll cause it to go back to where it belongs. So, you tap it on the inside, you actually extend it back past where it was supposed to be, it'll settle back to the right spot. So we're pretty close there. But what I'm seeing is that there's a bolt missing here. Missing there. They didn't put it in when they put the thing back together. Yeah, I could show you. Right there. That bolt's missing. That bolt there, or this tab, has burned off of there, or broke off of there, so I'm going to have to weld that. And also down there, that one's completely broke off. So I think what we're going to end up doing is actually pulling this guard up. I don't know. Well, that's not even against that. Alright. Alright, I'm going to hold that. I'm going to tap on it a couple more times, and I'm going to ask you to get in the skid steer and back it on out. Then we're going to have to move the mower, because we're going to pull it in and weld it. Alright. Alright. I think we're where we want to be. So go ahead, get in the skid steer. Whee! Excuse me. think you can see that it's slightly bent back out. Hopefully it comes when he releases it. It doesn't hyperextend, it stays straight. Yes, it's right where we want it to be. Now it's straight again. Now you can see how that gap opened up there and there. So I'll take that bolt out. Take that bolt out and move it over or something. I'll have to come up with something in there. Yeah, and we're gonna have to weld that. Alright, get it out of the way. Okay, so we'll get up in the... Okay, so the world's gone to shit. Tim just popped the tire on the back of that 4960. I guess I spoke too soon when I said that I had been having flawless operation, but anyway, I have managed to straighten this out. Did some bird shit welding job down in here to get this back to where it is actually doing something to hold this particular piece here from bending. Now, you know, that's just the best that I can do with what I've got right now. I did the bottom. I really did a bad job down there. It's just a bad job down there. But anyways, it sure beats setting the thing on fire. Anyways, that thing's back together. I have tightened the chain. I've re-tensioned it and everything. So now I'm just going to close her up because it's ready to go to work, I guess. Well, yeah, it's ready to go to work. The wind is blowing pretty good here today. And obviously, when the wind is blowing, the hay is blowing too. And with that being said, that means that the hay is blowing out of the windrow, and Timothy is with that flat tire. I'm going to go change the tire, so you're going to get to see that. And what else am I going to be doing? Yeah, so Timothy's he's bringing bale and twine. We're going to charge this bad boy up, and I'm just going to turn him loose, bale and hay, because I will be changing the tire instead of me baling. So you're not going to get any baling videos today. Hopefully, there's not going to be any more issues with this chain today anyway, at the least today. So I do have it straightened the hell out. It really pisses me off that that thing does that. But anyways, yeah, so that's pretty much it. If Timothy has any troubles, well, I'll let you know. I gotta finish cleaning up my tools. See, that's one thing that certain people around here don't know how to do. And I generally do clean up my tools, but Timothy does not. The gas shop's a mess, but that's okay because I kind of know where everything is and nobody else does, which is a good thing because nobody can steal from me. And I'm probably making you dizzy. Anyway, I'm going to set down the wind guard and lift that up, get the tires where they need to be, and that'll be that. So, thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe.